Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reasonably Effective Podcast. I'm your host, 10 Types, as I was joined by Uncommon Fossil.
Well, glad to be here. Looking forward to our discussion today.
Yep, and today we're talking about expanded format, and I'll just quickly kick us off with the thing that kind of inspired this. Then we'll talk about some different things here. But there was this PokeBeach article. PokeBeach, if you're not familiar, it's a Pokemon TCG news site. There's some other stuff on it, but it's mostly Pokemon TCG news. And there's this announcement posted a handful of days ago, and it says that creatures, which is the part of what like controls Pokemon, has announced Medicham V will be banned from Japan's version of expanded format starting February 20th. Then it says like when the card released. It says they did not elaborate on the ban. There doesn't seem to be an obvious reason why it's getting banned. And it's possible there was or will be an unfair combo with the card in a recent or upcoming set. I'll read the card in just a second as well. And it's likely Medicham V will also be banned by TPCI soon, which is in beyond Japan, because that's how it works. And Medicham V has the attack. Well, it has two attacks. The second one is like not very good, but the first one, Yoga Loop for 2 colors. You put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by this attack, you take another turn after this one. And if one of your Pokemon use Yoga Loop during your last turn, this attack cannot be used. So you can't chain it and get like a bunch of turns in a row using Yoga Loop. So yeah, I mean, Uncommon Fossil, what were your initial reaction to this and your like thoughts about it?
Yeah, look, first off, with Medicham V, part of why it's so strong anyway is obviously extra turns are a big deal. And this one, you can do it more than once. You can't do it sequentially more than once. But unlike, say, Dialga V-Star, you only get that one extra turn once because the V-Star power, you can do it multiple times over the course of the game. You are taking a knockout, so it's limited. First off, I will say I'm surprised about it because I don't think I like Medicham V. I like the Rapid Strike set and combo in general. This was a nice part of some of those decks. It wasn't always a part of all my Rapid Strike decks, but it was good. I've done it with a few other things as well, just trying it out. But I don't think it's crazy overpowered. Another thing I just want to say is with Pokemon and their organization coordination is a little odd because I have this other article which we'll talk about later from Pokemon about with live, which relates to this, but also they talked about rotation and the bans. That was on January 9th, and they said in that article that there were no changes to the expanded ban list. And then a few weeks later, Japan bans the cards. So I just don't know why they can't they just talk and plan this stuff out a little bit better?
Yeah, that's pretty funny, especially because it seems kind of random for them to say that there's no changes. Like, I guess they always say that, but it feels kind of like assumed.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we should say what expanded is as well. If you're not familiar, it's another format, right? And it's a format that is I guess second format supported by Pokemon. It's definitely supported less. And it's a format that is black and white on Pokemon TCG Live. It's Sun and Moon on. And there is a ban list, unlike Standard, where there's not a ban list. There are rarely cards banned in Standard. There are semi-regularly cards banned in Expanded because they're like. I guess we'll probably talk about some of the other bans, and usually it's because they're like super broken, like completely game changing. Like actually, not like powerful Pokemon, but like they win the game without your opponent being able to stop you. But anyways, it's and it's until the modern card. So every card legal in Standard is legal in Expanded unless it's banned. So yeah, it's a format that it's kind of cool. It's I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on Expanded just in general?
The other thing which I think we should say about Expanded, the listeners probably know, but if you're not really familiar with Expanded, it was, I guess it is the number 2 official format, or at least it was, because there were tournaments internationally in Expanded up until 2020 when things got shut down, and I don't know if it's safe to what words are safe to say these days. So things stopped in 2020 when they resumed after that event. Expanded tournaments just disappeared, and internationally there's like some in Japan occasionally, but no official international expanded events. I don't think Pokemon's actually ever addressed that situation, so we'll probably talk more about that. But it was a competitive event At not quite as popular as standard, but it was very popular at one time. So it's not that I think expanded format's pretty fun. It's nice to be able to play these older cards that particularly cards you played in standard and that you can't play anymore. So that's nice there. Um, it it depends how it is. That expanded can be narrow in terms of what the good decks are, and the good decks can be really powerful and fast. So therefore, it can make things sometimes more. In some ways, it's more narrow than standard for what you can play because the top decks just blow up everything else. So that's the downside to it. Um, and it was obviously to play it back on Pokemon TCG Online, it was hard to get some of the really good cards, just the way that system was. We can get them in live, although you just can't play all of them, so that part's unfortunate there. And then IRL wise, if you want to actually play it in tournaments, some of the really good older cards like the A specs, like Computer Search, I think were very expensive cards to get. And Pokemon International just never reprinted those cards. Whereas my understanding is like in Japan, they have reprinted some of those old cards periodically that players want to use for expand. So there's been more ongoing support for expand in Japan long term than there has been internationally as well.
Yeah, I don't know actually how expensive like cards are. Like Versus Seeker, I know isn't actually like. I mean, it's more expensive than you like, but it's like it's like $3.50, which isn't like horrible. There are more expensive cards than standard, certainly. But yeah, it's like I mean, you can't also like get your hands on these cards as easily at like say a local game store or
Right.
like just in general. I mean, they're not being printed, right? So, as you said, except for in Japan where they are being a lot of these cards are being reprinted, and there are expanded turns in Japan. Um, the Despite the fact that the ban list is being updated internationally, as you said, there aren't really expand tournaments internationally. People don't really play it that much. But and as you said, it is also the top decks are well, there are some theoretically fun things you can do in it. If you're playing it seriously, like how most people play standard, or a lot of people do, then you're gonna have essentially like a more narrow meta game. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But do you want to talk about like a bit more about why Medicham V might be banned first?
Yeah, first, just on the cost wise, I had heard someone else talking about this. They said it was like $100 to get a computer search card, and that might have been before when it was when things were still played. I just called up a TCG player here. It's like $10 to get it with a damaged version of computer search. And I think you can actually back in the day you could bring a damaged copy with you, and the judges would make you do a proxy, and you'd have
Okay, I
that sitting to
also
the side.
want to say another thing about the price here. This is like kind of bizarre. But anyway, so computer search. If you don't know, I'm just gonna quickly say what it does. You discard two cards from your hand and put a card from your deck into your hand. I actually don't know how good this isn't expanded right now. But anyways, computer search is or it was very good, but it is like $18. However, it was printed before as an ace spec, or no, sorry, not as an ace spec, but it's the same name as Eterna, so it's errata to that, which is in
Yes.
base set, but it's only like a few dollars. So, um, it's like actually it's like a bit under $3, theoretically, if you buy the base set two version, which you can play as your ace spec, despite the fact it doesn't say an ace spec and doesn't say an item. But anyways, that's not for today's discussion about some of the weird stuff that happens a bit more in
Yeah.
expanded than it happens in standard. But um, yeah, the cost is not I mean, it's not that bad, but acquiring the cards, especially if you want to acquire them at a local game store, that's probably going to be a little bit difficult there.
Yeah.
But then with Medicham V here, this is interesting to see that it's banned. If we look at the cards, how do I see banned
The
cards?
band list.
Limitless, banned, and then E. Okay. So for example, what? Okay, well, Force of Vitality is. No, Flapple's ban. Yeah, Flapple's ban. That's the most recent ban because of Force Vitality. Oh, okay. So one important thing is Pokemon likes to, if there's a broken combo, like Force of Vitality with Flapple is broken, supposedly. I don't know exactly how absurdly broken it is. I'd like know the combo, but it's like a little hard to set up. But anyways, so there's like an infinite combo where you do infinite damage with the Flapple, Force of Vitality, and Porygon Z, and it was like draw energy and like jump bluff. It's a lot of pieces. But anyway, so the card that was kind of the problem was Force Vitality, but they generally don't ban the new card that much. They tend to ban the older card, which I think is like more or less fine. And also they kind of tend to ban the card that is less impactful. So Flapple isn't very good in expanded. Like it's a cool card, but
Yeah.
it's not actually like good. And then I don't know how good Force Vitality is, to be honest. I don't know if it's played with Vileplume. I kind of assume it's like not played with Vileplume. But anyway, so they do ban cards, and they ban them when it's like super egregious. Like as I said, that you just do infinite damage and you win. Scoop Up Net, you could win. Okay, there's a lot of things that win turn one. Dust Skull, Scoop Up Net, and then there's some like combos that like obliterate your opponent's entire hand very easily and very quickly. Um, so those are the kinds of things that are banned. They like essentially instantly win you the game. Um, or I guess there's like, I mean, Puzzle of Time is banned because it gets so much resource recovery. I don't know too much detail in terms of the banning of Puzzle of Time, which it gets two cards back when you play two of it as an item. I know it was like powerful, but anyways, there's some really powerful cards that are banned. I mean, Licensed Storm card, the most or one of the most recent cards you banned in Standard, which recovers your entire discard pile into your deck for both players, um, is banned. So like they're really powerful. And Medicham, you were saying it was like surprising because it's like not at that level, right?
Right. I mean, what they do is, which builds on what you're saying, is they print a new card, and then it causes interaction with some older cards. So they ban the older card from expanding because they don't want to ban the new card from expanding. Where honestly, the new card is often, I think, at times the more powerful one, and I think there might be better ways to handle it. But like Flapple's not that great a card. So should Flapple be banned, or should they do something else? I don't know. Like Scoop Up Net, they banned that because it could scoop up the EX Pokemon, right? When they came out. So that's why they banned that because it was worded not all rule blocks, but Pokemon V and GX. So they banned the older card, even though at times, even though the older card is weak. And the other thing that there's a number of bans on control oriented cards as well, right? Because there's some combos that can get very powerful, but Medicham V is not a control card. I think, look, what Medicham V, it places 2 damage counters, and if you knock it out, take another turn. It's hard to stop placing damage counters in general, so it works well. You still have to get it set up. You need to attach the energy. One Rapid Strike energy powers it up. If you don't remember the Rapid Strike deck, it had the Rapid Strike energy, which provides 2 energies of water and fighting. It's 2 colorless, so you can pay for it with one attachment as well. So I mean, it's fun to do, but it never felt like it never felt anywhere close to being overpowered. Honestly, back when it was in Standard or in Expanded before this, so it's hard for me to imagine that Medicham V all of a sudden is really going to be broken. I find that very hard to envision.
Yeah, and the reason why, I mean, like, it just doesn't do. I mean, it does 20, right? It does 20
Yeah,
damage. You have an attack that does 20 damage. That's not a lot. And so Medicham V, it kind of acts like, oh, if you came up short on your last turn, or even this turn, with the use of what I'll describe as a ping Pokemon, one that like places damage counters on your opponent's board, this will allow you to like finish him off, which is like, that's good,
yeah,
but like it's not like so you mentioned Dialga G, or no, Dialga Vista or something, one of those, and those
yeah,
they like do a bunch of damage and take an extra turn, so you get like the whole value of taking an extra turn, which is good, right? That is very good.
right,
However, the this one you don't, right? Those are the ones are once per game, but this one is like you get a little extra value. You can play another supporter. You can attach on their energy. You can, I mean, you can draw. You can do some stuff. It is nice. It is good to get an extra turn, but it's not like
yeah,
um, getting this one extra turn. It's kind of like a fill in the gap turn. The turn you're using by the Jamboree. But anyways, so
right. Wait,
and this is
one other thing. So the way they designed it, I think is good because if they made it, you just place 2 damage counters, and if you take a knockout, you take an extra prize. You have to place both damage counters on one
yeah, sure,
Pokemon.
yeah.
So if you could take out 2 knockouts with it, that that would I think would have been overpowered. But the way they design, I think, is fair. And there are a lot of ways to place damage counters in Expanded now, and it has been problematic. So there's going to be some new card, I assume, that's going to place damage counters. But it's hard for me to imagine it's going to really push this over the edge.
Yeah, I do want to say there is one card that is problematic, which is Dusclops, which got Duskull banned, right? Oh,
Yes.
also I will say a lot of the cards that got banned are cards we like, including Medicham V. I do like Medicham V. But like Scoop of Net, Flapple,
Right.
Duskull, these are all like silly cards that we enjoy. Oh, okay, Scoop of Net is very powerful. But like Duskull and Flapple. I mean, I really like Flapple. I think you like it some, and I think we both like Duskull because it allows you to like fill your hand size for some fun combos. Which has like nothing to do with the reason it's banned.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's kind of unfortunate that we've ended up getting cards we enjoy banned for like random reasons.
Yeah, these fun kind of low tier cards um end up getting banned, which is which is, and you can't play it in Expanded, which, like I said, that's part of the fun of Expanded, playing these cards. So it's just kind of sad when you can't, oh, but I can't play that card. So um I wish there wasn't, like, they could ban combos of cards, but I guess that would probably get too complicated, right? To try to do that. But because to play like Flapple in most decks is fine. It's just like very limited use, where this Dust Skull is only problematic with the new line of evolutions, right? So if you played it with the other ways, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, and also with Dusclops, I feel like Dusclops is particularly egregious in terms of a bad design by Pokemon because like they obviously design cards to not be like broke. I mean, you look at standard, right? Cards are mostly designed for standard.
Yeah,
There's nothing like broke. I mean, there's some powerful stuff, right? But there's nothing like you can't like deal with, right? So, um, Dusclops though is like absurdly broken. It allows you to do consistently 250 damage turn one, going first. And if you don't win off that, you will presumably lose. But
yeah.
you can do some crazy stuff there. You can actually do more. I don't know how consistent that is, but in live you could do 250 when it wasn't. I tried it out before it got banned, and yeah, that's like blatantly broken, right? That's like blatantly
Yeah.
broken. There's no question about it. But they could have put this on like literally, not literally on the other line, but like any line that doesn't have fast evolution, and they didn't. So yeah, I mean, they just could have done this better. It's not like there's a reason it's on that. I mean, like there's some thematic reasoning, but it's not like it had to be there and it couldn't be on some other Pokemon. But anyways, the reason that we're kind of talking about this is because there's like some leaked card, I think. I don't know. Okay, I don't really know much about leaks in general. I mean, Pokemon reveals cards before sets are revealed. But anyways, I'll just quickly say it's a card that it places damage counters. And the reason we're talking about this is in the PokeBeach comments, where people were honestly arguing back and forth. But people were talking about saying like, oh yes, because this reason, the reason's because this like leaked card. Which, by the way, this is in February, which I believe will be the next set. And there's like
Yeah.
there's a Mega Greninja EX, which is confirmed more or less to be coming out. That we will be getting one, and then I think it does what kind of like Greninja Break did, um,
It it
which I've
it
yeah, you want to
places and because I looked at, I'm not going to show the image in the video here, but I looked at, found an image of certain leak cards. I don't whether they're right or not, we'll not know, but it's a Greninja EX, so stage 2 3 prizes. You can place 6 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon as long as you discard a basic water energy from hand. So so obviously you place 6 damage counters. You put 2 more with Medicham V. That's 8 damage counters to take a knockout. But it's still a bunch of pieces. It's a bunch of work. It's not like it's we have Dusclops and stuff in format, so it's not like we can't get damage counters into play. We had the Iron Valiant that places damage counters. There's all sorts of different ways to place damage counters, and it hasn't triggered a mass problem up to this point with Medicham V. So honestly, if that's what it does, play 6 damage counters. If you have your evolution Pokemon, that's 3 prizes, discards it, 1 energy from hand. I don't think that's pushing this over the top.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that good at all. So Greninja Break is literally in the format. Greninja Break has the same ability, Giant Water Shuriken, where again you just go to water, put 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. Pokemon Break 1, they're like, in my opinion, kind of horrendous to look at. One, maybe people like the actual design. I don't. They're just gold. They all kind of look the same to me. Um, But anyways, and they're sideways. So on Limitless, they're like kind of weird to look at. But anyways, they're like an extra stage. So if it was on Greninja, Mega Greninja EX, that'd be stage 2. This is like essentially stage 3, and so that's like worse. But I mean, it's it's whatever. Um, I mean, you could just get like two Meowscarada EX in standard to do the same thing. Wait, yeah, or kind of similar. And there's ways to do this. I mean, there's Inteleon, there's a different Greninja, there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to do this, right? Yes, that Greninja, like the putting 6 with 1 on a stage 2 is like decent. I don't even know if that card would be like good in standard. It seems like kind of mad. I don't know, but
Right. Yeah, I mean, just
yeah,
back at the time when Medicham V was in format, standard format, you mentioned the Inteleon, you had the Inteleon, the quick shooting ability that put 2 damage counters once per turn, crazy good, and the Inteleon engine on the Driz Island, the other Inteleon was super good, so super great in decks. And then you also had Inteleon VMAX, the Rapid Strike one, that could also place damage counters. So you had a lot of ways to place damage counters, all with a Rapid Strike, which had its own supporters and little engine artillery and stuff, and it wasn't problematic back then.
yeah. As you're saying, it was like very fair. Could be annoying, right? Could be annoying at times,
Yeah,
but because of the spread, right? Medicham V isn't really the annoying part. It's adding to the spread. That's
right.
fine. Anyway, so and that's what this supposed Greninja does. Um, and so whether or not it's real, I don't think matters for this because like that seems whatever. It doesn't seem that good. So
No.
I think I know though because this definitely has to do with a card that's coming out, right?
I can't, I don't believe there's, well, because at some point we're going to talk about where Expanded is today, and Medicham V, I don't think is in any of the top decks in Expanded right now.
Yeah. Oh, also, I will say, someone in the comment section of the PokeBeach article posted a video. And it's like, yeah, this is why it's broken. And then they showed like it was like a YouTube video. I was like, okay, I'll like see what's going on in this video. And it was like a game, right?
Okay.
Um, and it was someone, and they were so by the way, Regidrago is the best deck in the format. Spoilers if you didn't know that, it's very good. I haven't actually played, but I assume it's like based on the meta game, it's like a lot better than everything else. But anyways,
Yeah.
so the one person was playing Regidrago, the one person was playing this like Dusclops Medicham Redac. I didn't like look through super quickly. I'm not gonna lie, or I did look through super quickly. It didn't look super thoroughly, but the Regidrago player like dead drew, like they didn't like attack all game. I
Okay.
don't think, and I think Medicham V was used once. I mean, it was like maybe twice. I don't know, but no, he couldn't have been twice, I don't think. So, anyways, yeah, I don't think there's anything like super broken there. Pairing with pingers, it's like it's fine, I guess. But so on Fossil, do you have any guesses as to why? Because I think I have a pretty good idea.
You don't think it has to do with a potential new card, or you think there's
Oh, I
something
do. I
that's
do
going to be
think it
even
has to
more
do with.
powerful than what we discussed?
Well, I think there's something that's going to be too power. Like, I mean, too
Okay.
powerful paired with Medicham V.
No, I do not know. So rather than my guessing away mindlessly, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I think so. I'm gonna read the ability or not the ability, the attack again. It says put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by this attack, you take another turn. After this one, if one of your Pokemon used Yoga Loop during your last turn, this attack cannot be used. So
Oh, you're gonna have something that
yeah,
copies the attack, right?
no, well, no, because then
Because
you'd be using Yoga Loop, but
okay,
there's another Pokemon like Yoga Loop. So like some I'll just call it Medicham V2, or Mega Medicham. Just Medicham have a Mega? I think it might. Anyways, I'll just say it's Mega Medicham, and it's using this attack Yoga Loop 2, and that's not
hmm
called Yoga Loop. So you can use you can like alternate turns between the two attacks, and you can
okay,
chain infinite turns. That's my guess that we're gonna get like a Pokemon like a reprinted version of this card,
okay.
your similar card, and that could be broken, right?
Yeah, no, if you have a new card that essentially has the same attack as Medicham V, it wouldn't be called Yoga Loop. Although they could print the new card and actually
It
call
could,
the
yeah.
attack Yoga Loop, and then it would stop it from looping, which would have been which that would have been actually pretty cool to have done that if that's what they're
Yeah, that
doing.
would have been smart. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so that's an interesting prediction. I like that. I mean, I think that makes more sense than some other Pokemon that just places some damage counters because, like I said, there's a lot of ways to do it now, and I don't see. It's hard to imagine one more way is gonna make that much difference. So yeah, something else with another attack that you could switch back and forth. Then yeah, you don't want your opponent, especially if your opponent can attack turn one, which you could do with this one too. You
Yeah.
can attack turn one. You don't want your opponent to go second on turn one and just take like as many turns in the row as they need to win the game.
Yeah. I don't know if that would be broken because does quite require a lot of setup.
Yeah.
But I think this kind of falls in line with a similar reason to the Flapple banning, where with the Flapple combo you need so many pieces, but it is this like infinite combo. And Medicham V with this supposed new card that I'm predicting is going to come out would also result in a similar style of combo, I think. And people, Pokemon just doesn't like that type of thing. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, I can see that. And the other thing is when you play against some of these decks that have these infinite combos but are crazy hard to do, they're also really unfun to play against because your opponent is just like trying this stuff and often grinding long turns, and then they either eventually hit it and you just crumble, or they just don't ever, or it never sets up and they're really never in the game. And it's not fun either way with this massive swing. Do they get it going or not?
Yeah, it's like playing a different game. It's very weird. Um, it could be cool. I mean, it's also kind of like the unknowns that are banned, where if you hit the certain condition, you just win the game. And so again, it's like you just kind of win, or you miss and you lose. And I don't know, specifically if unknown hands even broken. I know damage does have an infinite combo, which I think is easier to pull off than the Flapple one. You actually don't need Flapple to start the infinite combo with Flapple. Um, I'm not sure. Actually, no, I think the Flapple one's. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. I haven't really heard people. I mean, you've heard some talk about this. I haven't heard too many people, if any. I haven't seen anyone suggest this, and I think this, like, to me seems like the most obvious thing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get another extra turn attack. Do you like extra turn attacks? So I guess we'll talk about. There's two types of extra turn attacks. There is Medicham V's extra turn attack, which is kind of like tricky, setting up, and not these huge swings. And then
Right.
there's like the Dialga extra turn attacks. What are your thoughts on them?
I mean, I think because I played Dialga some too. I'm sure you did too, and probably a lot of the listeners too. So Dialga obviously was potentially very good.
The V
Although it was
Star.
Dialga V Star, sorry, but it wasn't great. I mean, it was never. Was it briefly one of the top decks? I think it probably.
I mean, maybe top 10, like floating in that range at points. It wasn't like super good ever, I don't think. I mean, I never thought the deck was very good. I thought, like, because what it does is you do, so there's Dialga V Star, then there's Dialga GX, which we'll talk about after this because it ties into Reggie Draco, which is expanded. And so Dialga is you have this attack that is a once per game attack. You could actually use both Dialga GX and V Star,
Yeah.
but people don't really do that. Um, and you do like a bunch of damage. Dialga V Star is 220, and then you take an extra turn. It's very powerful, and it's a big swing because you get two attacks that are big attacks. Um, so Dialga, these attacks are like you set them up. They're kind of hard to set up though. It's 5 energy, but it's like you I mean, my thought on it is you fall behind in the early game and then you catch up in the late game. So you just kind of end up where you started, but
Yeah.
which like can win you games, but
Yeah, well, it was again,
it's kind of weird.
it was sweet because like looking at the decks, the early decks, then they played the Matang with the ability Metal Maker, and you look at the top four cards in your deck, stage one, and you attach any basic metal energy you find there onto your Pokemon. So it was really swinging too, which isn't
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, yeah, and I'm looking at this one as well. Before that, there's the Magnezone build, which is like that, but a stage two, so it's even more swingy. And then it's like about 20 energies. Um, Someone with Miraidon EX as well, which is like kind of funny. But
Yeah.
and then people also played it with oh yeah, there's the quote Turbo Dialga build, which was not very fast, but it played Mew. There was like a Mew that it played. But anyways, so there was that. We just played Metal Saucer, so you could only attack with one Pokemon in the deck, right? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, maybe you could attack with two, but like in the course of a game, but
Oh
you have like
yeah.
not much energy acceleration.
That's right. I remember playing it some, and you'd only play like two Daga V stars, and I don't even know if there's always
Yeah.
recovery either. It was kind of it was, but that's the way the deck was built because you needed so many energies. I think so.
Yeah, and then
Um,
there's the Lawson build as well. I'll mention, which is like that, but like better. The Turbo Dialga build, in quotes, because it's not fast. It's just bad. But I don't know. I think it was pretty terrible. But anyways, so that the Lost Zone build was like that, but you had more like draw. Well, I don't know, maybe not more draw, but you had more energy acceleration, which is better, and more attacking options, which is also better.
Yeah, look, I think it's like Dialga V. Like, I think Medicham V was a much better Pokemon than Dialga V Star. I mean, Dialga V Star, you could build a deck around. You weren't going to build a deck around Medicham V, but Medicham V added another option within a good deck, whereas Dialga V Star was kind of a trap. It was like, oh, look what it can do, but it was like a tease that probably wouldn't get there most of the time. That was kind of my experience from playing the deck.
Yeah. And then Dahlia, I guess we'll move on to Dahlia GX now. And Dahlia GX, there is actually two. I'm not super familiar with the exact reason why, but for a bunch of time, for a little while, in the Sun and Moon era, we had these cards that were the same. So, of course, in the video game, Pokemon are two types. And then in the TCG, they are one type. They could be two, but for the most part, they're one. So they had these dual type Pokemon like Dialga, which is, I guess, Metal and Dragon, or no, Steel. It's in the video game, which is turned into Metal. So there's a Metal one, and there's a Dragon one. Which actually matters that there's a Dragon one, which is the good one. They're the same card, but they have,
Yeah,
as I said, like a scene. Oh,
I
what
mean,
you want to say?
what I didn't know this, but they both are the text is exactly the same. It's just the typing's different.
Yeah.
The same energies, the exact same attacks. Pretty crazy. I didn't know Pokemon had done that.
Yeah, and there's like a few of these are good. I mean, there's Tapu Lele, which was good. And I think the typing mattered, and there's some different ones. So they're kind of cool to check out. I don't remember how many there are, but anyways, so the attack here is Timeless GX, which is yeah, it's 5 energy. You do 150, take another turn after this. It's weaker, but it is on a basic. In expanded, oh, I will say theoretically in expanded right now, you can chain a bunch of extra turns. You can Medicham V, then Dialga, then Medicham V, then other Dialga, then Medicham
Right.
V, and I think that's 6 turns in a row. Presumably you'd win if you do that. Presumably you can't do that as well, right?
Pulling it off, right, probably won't happen. We'd hope
Um,
so.
yeah. But anyways, so you can use this attack here, and specifically, it's used in Regidrago, which I've been talking about a little bit. And it's very powerful in Regidrago. So I'll just pull up a list here. The most recent expanded tournament that I've seen was on the 4th of May no, yeah, last year,
Yep.
so a while ago. And it's mostly Regidrago. Like 13 of the 16 decks are Regidrago. It's absurd. And so Regidrago V Star is very powerful. I mean, it was like good in standard at a point. It wasn't always good in standard. When it came out, it was like a bit of a meme deck, but anyways, it's copying Pokemon for you have an attack here for grass, fire. You copy a dragon Pokemon, or an attack of a dragon Pokemon in your disco pile and uses this attack. So you ignore the attack cost there, and the stage as well, and that's quite good. And there's double dragon energy in expanded, which is 2 energy on a dragon Pokemon, which is very good. I think a lot of people are have speculated that that's going to get banned because it's like legitimately. I guess we wouldn't really say like. I mean, when do you think of a card getting banned? You probably just think of it being just too good, and double dragon energy is really, I'd say, in that boat. It's the card that might get just banned.
Yeah, I mean, I think before, right, they stopped printing Dragon Pokemon for a while, but once they started reprinting them, Regidrago's just really good. So I think, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would probably say it should. A format where, what, 14 or 13 of the top 16 decks are all the same, essentially, that's just not a healthy format. So they're going to have to do something to address it, I would say.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think it's not quite as bad as it looks here, but I'm not sure. As I said, I mean, it's kind of hard to find info about expanded. But anyway, so you have attacks. You have the best one, I think. I don't know, or one of the best ones is Dragapult EX, which is in standard. So everyone Regirogo V-Star was good in standard. It was had Dragapult EX, and also had this paired with Team Upon EX to power it up. But anyway, so then you have this
Yep.
Kyurem as well. Kyurem's also in standard, but it was mostly just played with Regidrago when it was in standard, and it does uh 110 to 3 points Pokemon, though you do lose the energy attached to it. Dragapult, of course, is 200 and then 60 spread on your point suspension any way you like.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, those are some powerful spread attacks. You also have well, funnily enough, Mega Dragonite EX is also not really seeing play in this deck, which I thought it was going to, but it's not. I guess it's not that important. But anyways, you have Salamence EX for big damage. You have some disruptive attacks as well. You have Northern EX and GX, which can collectively item lock, special energy lock, basic wall, and wait, what did I say? Item lock, special energy lock. Oh yeah, basic wall. I think that's
Basic.
it. Yeah. Oh, and stadium lock, I guess.
Oh
So you
yeah,
can do these things. And that's like pretty good. And then you also have Dialga GX, which is just a turn where you can get an extra turn, do like a bunch more damage, pull ahead there, just have an extra 150 damage on your opponent's side of the board, which is good, right? So Dialga GX is very powerful. That's the big one that it didn't have in standard in terms of Pokemon there. But anyways, the deck's very powerful. Also, I do want to quickly um, mention with expanded kind of how the format goes. Or actually, no, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more after, um, because it does play. It is a format where like the rules are more or less the same as standard, but it plays pretty differently. As far as I'm aware, I don't really play it. I mean, you can't really find info about it, but um, the way it plays is different, but Regidrago is very, very powerful. And I mean, yeah, you were saying like it just played too much, right? It's too prevalent.
it is. And I agree, thinking this through, this Dialga GX plus the Regidrago. I mean, plus Dragapult EX. Now you're doing 150 plus 200, so you're taking a big knockout between those two, and you're putting 60 damage in play. So that it plus plus all your supporters and whatnot and items you play. So pretty crazy combo there.
Yeah, you could also pair that with Kyurem, which could take like I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how it like goes about it, but it's really difficult to deal with. I know. I play this. You can play this in live expanded. You don't have double dragon energy, which is a big loss.
Right.
The deck plays differently, but like you can do the Alga GX, Triple EX. It's super powerful. This is potentially the best deck in live expanded. I'm actually interested in hearing people's thoughts on live expanded, like on the because Uncommon Fossil, you don't know much about the live expanded, like the best decks, right?
No, I mean I play it, but I play decks I want to play. And you see a lot of random decks on Live Expanded, so it's hard to know what's good. Honestly, in some ways, I like good. There's good things about Live Expanded because I enjoy Versus Seeker a lot as I'm looking at this Regidrago expanded deck. But on the other hand, it's so good. I don't mind. In some ways, it's better if it's just not in format. In a lot of ways, too. Having a format expanded without something like Versus Seeker and Battle Compressor, without Double Dragon, might just be a better format to me.
Yeah. There's some really powerful cards. So, as we're saying, Live Expanded does not have the cards that are in was it in Black and White and X and Y.
Right.
And for the most part, the Pokemon in that are not that good because their power level is lower, and the sets are also smaller. And the cards are generally worse, even outside of power level. Like I think there's more filler. Maybe not. Yeah, I think there's more filler, despite the sets being smaller. But yeah, anyways, so there's a lot of terrible Pokemon, and so for the most part, there aren't Pokemon that are played in these decks from the older era. There's Wobbuffet here, which I will talk about, or those types of Pokemon, but for the most part, there's not that many. I mean, like those big attackers that aren't from that era, and then there's some powerful turners and support cards. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like Verseeker, Battle Compressor, there's some like just crazy cards. Um, and yeah, they're a little too good, probably. They're potentially a little unfun. I personally do. I mean, you're saying you like them. I do like them, but there are definitely people who don't like them, and yeah, they might be a little much here. And some of them are pretty annoying as well. So I think like the live expanded removes some of the annoying cards. A lot of the good Pokemon are really like control based or disruptive based.
Yeah, which is right, and I think we both certainly both respect control, and we'll do it some, but having control being too good isn't fun in general. Let me talk for a minute about should we talk about live expanded now, or in the future of
I think I
that,
want to
or
quickly
not yet?
talk about the control elements in full
Okay,
expanded. Um, and then we'll pivot more to live expanded where there are less of them.
okay,
But within full expanded, like you look at Regidrago and like yeah, sure the damage is good. That you can like do some crazy stuff. You can like wipe your opponent's board kinda. But for the most part, you're not doing like absurd damage. I guess, but you're not like absurdly fast. But that's because you have a lot of control elements. I mentioned the item lock and stuff. There's like Badoo. Badoo's are going to standard. It's been expanded to.
Yep.
Wobbuffet's a control card. Ability locks when it's in the active. You have Path to Peak, which ability locks. You have Vileplume, which item locks. You have Denor, which as I said, like do different locks there. So there's a lot of disruption. And like pseudo control elements to these decks, which is very different than expanded. Where I mean, yes, in expanded, if we look at like a deck, um, you'll see that. Oh, okay, even not Goldingo. If you look at Dragon Ball, yeah, you'll see like you'll see like a couple of Badoo probably, and like maybe this list has a Turo and like Ionos, right? And so yes, you will see disruption to some extent in standard, but like not that much. And you like it's kind of like, oh, I want to buy the time to set up, but no, in like expanded, it's disruptions interwoven into the game, which is interesting and different, but it is different, right? Which could be good, but it is it could be bad as well, and that's more so supported by the older the older cards as well.
Yeah. Now, look, I don't mind some level of control mixed in because I think that can make the gameplay interesting, having different things you can switch between. The negative to me though is the hard control, like the Vileplume lock type decks that are
Mhm.
part of control. Which I don't know if you were going to talk about that or not, but
You just do you want to mention it? You want to bring it up here a little?
I, yeah, and I don't know these cards as much because I didn't have as good as well access. But the Vile Plume with what it would do, um, it what your basic Pokemon can't attack. But there was what there's another Vile Plume,
Oh
right?
yeah, here. Oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay,
So the deck
yeah,
is, which Valplume is good. There's like control box decks. Some of them play like Dragon Ball and stuff. But anyways, so you got a Vileplume here, which yeah, as you said, there's one that stomps basics, which is okay. That was annoying for the deck we played in Expanded Mad Party a lot. But
yeah,
also everything was annoying for that deck. But Vileplume is a card that item locks both people, and it doesn't
right.
need to attack. It's not like Badoo. So which one means that like it's annoying to deal with, but also it means that neither player is playing any item. So it also restricts the person playing it, which I'd say is a little boring. But anyways, so what item locks, and you have TM evolution, which TM evolution evolves one of your Pokemon. You can use a turn when going second. However, well, you still use a turn when going second in expanded, but you can attack with it twice. You can get into the Vileplume turn one. Using Bunnelby, which is kind of like Festival Ground or Festival Lead, but Festival Lead can't work with TMs, so this works with TMs.
Well,
And
in the Bundle B it's a basic, and which the Festival League has that too. But you don't need a stadium to play. It's just a
yeah,
Pokemon has an Omega Barrage, I guess is what it's called, or
yeah,
something. It's pre ability is what They have all these funny terms, which also means you
yeah.
can't like
Well, there were abilities at this time, but
Okay, but it's not an ability, so it also doesn't get ability locked either.
mhm. Yeah. And yeah, then you pair this with like Path to the Peak, which ability locks your opponent. I guess also you, and then that can be good because it plays Slacking EX. And anyway, so pretty much your opponents can't play any items all game. Long story short. And yeah, that's it. There's more stuff to the deck, but that's mostly it. Um, and then you like attack with some generically decent Pokemon that is relatively linear and win because they can't do that much. So, and there are decks like this. There's some that are interesting. A lot of them are kind of boring. They're kind of I don't know. I'd say they're kind of boring, but there's some interesting back and forth elements to it. You see like some interesting tech cards in some of these decks, but overall, I'd say that I don't really like these types of hard control decks, just like you. Um, but yeah, we do see these pretty prevalent in control, or no, in expanded you see control.
Yeah, and like right now we see mostly the Regidrago decks, but I imagine if there were more tournaments going on that we see results of, control would probably be a bigger factor because people, there's just so many crack control cards that I think it's just hard to, if you want to win, it's a really good way to go.
Yeah, yeah, control is kind of crazy. Um, and yeah, Pokemon doesn't really protect control cards that much recently, but they actually did or are going to in the next set, which I'm excited for. Well, in my opinion, there's some that are kind of cool. But anyways, you want to talk about live expand now, right?
Yeah, so Live expanded. Where's the article here? So they had it on the official Pokemon website. They talked about rotation coming up, which is good because rotation surprises new players. So it's good that they posted something about that. Although there'll be still a lot of questions in the formats. Why doesn't my deck work? But that's for another day. But then they said here for expanded format, which as you said is truncated live. It's format only Sun and Moon on. They say it's going to remain unchanged for now in this announcement. Would being but that's the official format. But then they say for live, it doesn't support all extended cards, as we know, but their backward compatibility plans are ongoing. Now, I don't know why they call it backward compatibility, but that usually means something different, I would think. But they're going to use a phase support for additional expanded format cards to be expected later in this year, 2026. So, and they say it's a large. The full set is complex and large, so that's why they do the phased rollout to help maximize the quality and ensure minimal disruptions to ongoing play. We know disruptions are going to happen because that's just what happens when they do things with live. But so it sounds to me like they're going to start bringing back some of the older cards this year. I'm expecting second half of the year, the way they phrased it. And I don't think we're going to get the full set of expanded this calendar year, though. That's my guess. Probably by the end of next year, assuming things go okay, we'll have full expanded. That's kind of the way I read between the lines. Although at times Pokemon does try to set the expectations low, so they hopefully, because they don't want to come up short with it. They're doing a better job at times, I think, of putting out reasonable expectations. But I don't think anytime soon we'll get new cards, and we're not going to get all of them right away.
Yeah, and they say it's expected to begin, which could mean it's even pushed back, and we don't have anything this year. And honestly, like they're like, oh, it's a big deal. I mean, yes, it is a big deal to add.
Yeah.
That being said, like they shouldn't be theoretically that hard to add. I don't think. I mean, it's not like super easy, I guess. But in terms of weird interactions, there aren't that many. And then in terms of like amount of cards, I mean, there's a good amount, but I mean, okay, as I said, there's a lot of like filler, like true filler, and then there's also a lot of as I say, there's a lot of like cards that are similar to each other, things like that, right? So
Right.
overall, I think it's
I think though a card like Bunnelby, which has what's essentially an ability, but it's not called an ability, getting that programmed properly is going to be tricky, right? Because look, I still check
yeah.
the live forums regularly, and I see every week pretty much someone saying I couldn't choose a card with Nest Ball or something, and every couple weeks I have like I can't boss up my opponent's Pokemon to knock them out. So they still can't do basic things in live too as reliably as they should, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually got an interesting comment on a video recently about bugs in live, and they said
Yeah,
that I don't know how long they've been playing, but they said they haven't really experienced card bugs. They've
good.
experienced like not card specific bugs, like the like not being able to search for something
Hmm.
or not being able to like select a card. But they haven't experienced card bugs, and I haven't like experienced card bugs in a while either. I don't think.
Okay.
Um, have you?
I've had some boss bugs at occasion,
Is that being able to click a Pokemon? Well, but that's just
where
not
I can't.
being able to select a Pokemon, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a Pokemon selection, but in this case, from my opponent's bench. Right.
Yeah,
Um.
which is the same. I think it's the same as the Nest Ball
It
issue.
it,
I think with the
it
boss
probably is.
situation, actually, because I there's a video and I said like, oh, I can't gust up their Pokemon because live's not working. Then I got a comment. It was like, you didn't play the gust card, and I was like, yeah, but I can't click on the card, so I can't like click on it at all. It's like the same
Right.
issue.
Right.
So
Because the card I couldn't boss up. I tried. I didn't think it was going to work, but I couldn't like click on that Pokemon on the bench to to read the text on it or anything. So it wasn't there in live for me, even though it actually was there. Then later on, my opponent sent up the Pokemon of the active. That kind of reset things, and then I could interact with the card after that.
yeah, and I have no idea the cause of this issue, but I don't think it's a card related bug. So I guess in
That's
that
true.
sense, they're like doing like fine with cards. And sometimes there are complicated interactions. It seems like they're doing a pretty good job. And they're working on fixing them when they come up. But I mean, it does seem pretty rare. Seems like more niche things. Yes, there are going to be some weird niche cases like inexpanded. But like even if like I don't. I mean, if Buttleby got item or ability locked, I mean, yes, that is wrong. But like I don't know. I mean, at least like I don't know if they've started. I'd like to see them start. And if it's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, like this like doesn't really work. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I like if it doesn't work when it comes out, I understand that. I don't understand them like saying it's coming soon for years and years, and we haven't gotten any progress on it. That's I
yeah,
think less understandable. I don't know. One thing I will say, I'd actually like to see. This is so I really enjoy new cards. You enjoy new cards too, right?
yeah, yeah. Part of it, what makes the game fun.
Yeah, and I'd like to see them roll it out set by set, kind of make a little bit of hype for it. I mean, I think Live's like the anti-hype machine. It's like everyone like hates on it, and it's because it has like issues, and they don't really interact with the community, the like creators of Live that much, I don't think. They like give us these letters that are like kind of nothing. I mean, that's fine, I guess, but like if they get the community like to like them more by like doing like a phase lot, I think that could be pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, part of the issue is, or the biggest part of the is money, right? And how much
Mhm.
resources they're going to put in, how many programmers are going to pay to do this. But if they just committed to say one expansion every 2 months, which isn't that much, right?
Yeah.
Which would take like 5 or 10 years to do, quite frankly. But if they did that, I think people could start to get excited about it too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And they're just like not really transparent with these things. I mean, as I said, they're like stuff's like this is not very specific. It's saying it's expected to begin later this year, and it's large and complex, and there's a phased rollout to ensure maximal quality and minimal disruption. What does that like even mean? I mean,
right.
like it like kind of sounds good, but then like it doesn't mean that much. It feels like.
No, right. There's so much vagueness to it. It's not good. The other thing which was weird with this, because I pay attention to like the live forum, so because I try to pay attention to what's happening live, but this was on the announcement for the regular TCG at rotation, and it was stuck at the bottom of that announcement. So it's still not. This information doesn't appear in the forums, I don't think at all, which is kind of weird too. That's not where it belongs. So why is it showing up here instead of where it really would belong? I don't fully understand how they, how they think and do business with these things.
Yeah. It seems like they don't care that much, which is okay if they don't, if they just want to like I don't know. I mean, they should care about something, right?
Yeah, well, like, they should at least, obviously, what's the place of live within Pokemon's TCG plans, right? Because obviously part of it's a business decision. We get that they don't make money off this, so what's the purpose? It'd be nice to have some sense of that, but also they're doing something and they're putting it out and it represents the company as everything that an individual or business does represents it, and it's not been done well, and they shouldn't be happy that live is something that's making the Pokemon company look bad, right? They should want it to be good, just so they can look good as a company in general.
Yeah. And they should be like, I mean, there have been times they've done things wrong and then they've like made it right, but that's not that common. And there have been a lot of times where they've tried to do things that aren't even that much and they've done it horribly. I mean, the most like I guess unfortunate that of them in my opinion was Palafin EX, where they
Yeah.
messed that up and they gave it out for free to everyone and was like, this is this cool thing, which it wasn't even that cool in my opinion. But if you liked it, that's fine. But I mean the card strip didn't work at all. It didn't work. It like crashed the game or something. It was horrendous. I think I have like a YouTube short of it, and pretty much it caused I don't know, it like mixed cards up. It was very bizarre. But anyways,
Yeah.
and they like didn't. I mean, I guess they like banned the card because it didn't work, but they didn't fix that quickly, and they were still giving it out for free to everyone. So, um, yeah, and like
Yeah.
they didn't test it, I guess, because I mean, it straight up didn't work like at all. Every time you played it, your game would like completely break down.
That's true. They could, right. Pretty much every game it didn't work, so they must have been writing the code right up to minutes before sending it out, which means things aren't going to work, right? Most like
Yeah.
it's just not smart with things. So anyway, I mean, what the big thing to me with expanded in live is I'd like it to be able to do. I'd like it to start to probably. I like how this format is. I would like this truncated format and the full format myself. Although maybe that's too many things for the user base. But I would like to be able to do friends matches for one thing. Even the way it is now, I think friends matches would be good. And then I would like to be able to do a competitive, ranked as well. Not that I don't really care about my rank, but I still like to get the resources, the cards, the packs you get. And it's like, okay, I'm going to play expanded now, but I'm like, oh, I think I want to try to get my rank, get up to the next level. So these next few days, I'm going to play standard. When even though I'd rather be playing expanded, so I think they should be able to do those two things, and even if it's a little bit buggy, it's better if we can play against friends. If we could play ranked, I think that would be a big plus for it in live myself.
Yeah, and well, I don't really like ranked because I mean, again, you were saying you play ranked kind of like you feel like you have an obligation to play it, right?
Yeah, and look, I like as a part of the whole free to play thing, I want to try to maximize the resources I get. That's part of my philosophy.
Yeah. And I guess I'll mention it's hard to get the expanded cards in live than standard, right?
Harder,
They're
you
more
said?
expensive. Yeah, they're more expensive, right? Like the V's are more expensive than the EXs, or is that wrong?
Um, oh, the that's true. The V Maxes are definitely more expensive.
Okay.
I don't remember with the GXs and the tag teams if I think they might be more expensive. I think the EXs are a little cheaper than the other multi-prize Pokemon, but the live economy is pretty generous. So certainly compared to like Pokemon TCG Online, it's much easier, and even compared to other online collectible card games, it is a lot more free to play friendly than others.
Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, you have that element to it where this stuff might be hard to get. But anyway, so
Yeah.
um I've lost my train of thought. So you have you have with live expand, I think that could fit in as a trainer trial as well. Going back to the ranked thing, I'm not a big fan of the rank ladder, but because I feel like it makes people unhappy. But
Yeah.
the ranked ladder is something that it does mean people play better decks, and which can be good to see, right? If you want to play against like good decks, and play against like a more consistent metagame and play, something where you have a better idea of what's going to happen when you go into a game, which can be good, then having ranked, I think that's what is the reason why ranked is important there, which
Yeah.
I sometimes ignore. I think a better matchmaking system would help that. Potentially, I don't know. Maybe the matchmaking system in live is actually good, and like I'm just wrong about this, but maybe the matchmaking system is bad and could be improved. But ultimately, it probably won't be improved, particularly soon. People haven't really complained about the matchmaking system very much, so I suppose it's fine. But yeah, I do think truncated live could be within a train trial if they had full live. Or no, truncated live expanded could be there if we have full live expanded as a train trial. I think that'd be cool. I mean, we'll see about the future train trials, what that's going to look like. I think overall they've done an okay job, and we've talked about that a bunch. And it definitely seems like it might end up being full GLC, which would be fine. The GLC community has a very low intersection with the live community. I mean, a lot of Pokemon TCG players play live, right? Who play
Yeah.
standard. I think a lot of people who play GLC. I mean, some play live, but some don't. But anyways, if full expand was there, then full GLC would be there as well. And it definitely seems like they're putting care into GLC. They have the right ban list, and they've had issues as they do, but they've addressed those issues and like fixed them and things like that with GLC in ways they haven't with other things. So I think they are trying to appeal to the community in that way, which is good to see.
Yeah, I mean, my guess. I'll put out my guess. You put out a guess for what you think is going to cause why the Medicham V ban was out there. I think eventually we're going to have standard, full expanded, and GLC as the three permanent formats at live, and that's going to be it.
No rotating train trial.
No, I think that'd be too much with it. I think that there's enough outcry. People still want generally GLC over the other trainer trials, and I don't think there's going to be enough user base to have those three full formats plus a rotating format.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be I was gonna say the ranked and casual and all those?
Yes, I
Or what do you
think.
like?
Would I like that? I mean, I think certainly I think the GLC community because there are people on the forums asking for GLC to become permanent. I think they're going to want it to be ranked. Once they make it, if they permanently casual, then everyone's going to say it needs to be ranked. So I think they're going to have to ultimately make them, yes, fully ranked and friends matches for all three formats. I think that's where it will end up, and then
Yeah.
and then I think things quiet down at that point.
Yeah. I stand by the fact that people like, so people asked for ranked a lot. And I
Yeah,
was like, I don't think, like, I was a live hater when it was revealed. And partially because of ranked. And, well, I don't think the ranked thing has really mattered. People, there was a lot of complaining when ranked wasn't around. And there's been not very much celebrating now that ranked is around. There's been a little bit of complaining and no celebrating. So I don't want to mention that. But
yeah,
anyways, um, yeah, I think that's fine, and that is more formats because there's four now, and then there would be six. I mean, I do like the trainer trials. I like weird stuff. And the trainer trials really embrace that. I think that's really cool. Um, if they really leaned into it being like silly and fun. But yeah, being said, I think they need to figure things out with these other formats first, and then they can look into the trans trials. If live gets better, theoretically more people will play it as well. Then the player base will expand, and they could add another format as well. So that'd be later down the line, though.
yeah.
In let's see, so. What do you think the timetables here with like expanded and GLC and stuff?
Um, I think expanded will see more cards added over the summer at some point. Is the
Okay.
first batch. And hopefully it's not going to be all of XY because I think that's going to be too much for them to handle at once. So hopefully it's just like one or two sets at a time. I think that's kind of what needs to happen for it to be steady. And then maybe by the end of 2026, it could be finished if they can do a good job. GLC wise,
Is that what you're sorry? Is that your expectation or is that your hope?
I think we'll see something by this summer is most likely.
Okay.
If
When
it
do you think it'll be done by the end of this year? I mean that's not what it sounds like from the
I don't think
letter,
it'll be
but I mean
done
could
this
be.
year. The only way, no, I think I'm hopeful that it'll be done by the end of next year, and
Oh,
that
next year. Okay.
by the end of yeah, that's sorry, by the end of 2027. I might have said the wrong year.
Oh, yeah,
I
because
sorry,
okay,
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're in
because it's the new year,
2026 already,
which
aren't
makes
we?
sense.
So yeah, I think it'll take them that amount of time. And if they roll it out, say in the summer, and it causes a big mess, then I think it probably won't be done by the end of 2027.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I think I'm not even sure if there'll be stuff in this summer. Um, I will say my hope, which I don't think they'll do. This is my like dream scenario is
Hmm.
every month where there's like when there's like over a month or no, I mean over 2 months between main sets, they
Yeah,
add an expanded set or not main sets, standard sets. They add an expanded set, and that'd be cool. They work backwards. I think that'd be fun. It'd be a little weird, but I think it'd be cool. I think it would be like a really cool thing for the community. And I think it's a pretty fair schedule, pretty fair balance wise, right? Because
yeah,
we don't want to see them adding. I mean, the worst thing would be if they start adding these expanded cards and then then standard stops working because they can't spend as much time on that, right?
right. Right. They can't afford to cut back the staff that's working on standard format, right? Because I don't think so to do it. So right now I don't know if there's like one person doing all this expanded stuff or nobody, but they're going to either, they have to probably add some people to actually get expanded in because cutting back on standard isn't going to be good for anybody.
Yeah. But overall, I think this is like I think expanded is like cool. I think it'd be cool if people tried it out.
Yeah.
Um, it is different. It has some differences. I think it's at first I thought GLC was more different than from standard than expanded, but I think I might change my mind on that because with was it with GLC you have I don't know. I mean, maybe I just played more GLC than expanded, but expanded you have like some interesting pseudo control elements in a lot of decks, and I think there's a lot more back and forth. Though in GLC you do have like the singleton element of setting up a threat, which is
Right.
not something you do in standard at all. I think they all have different elements that are cool about them. I think expanded has more than I was thinking, and so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Also, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the new cards and the bands as well. But I imagine you're excited for that as well, right?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what the whatever this new card is that prompted them to ban Medicham V, and the fact that they published an article last year and expanded internationally. Be nice if internet if it comes to IRL play gets reestablished a little bit of expanded and getting it into live. Those will all be positives to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen here. But we hope you are too as well. Make sure you, if you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe. If you're not, also subscribe to us on the 10 Types and Icon Fossil YouTube channels. We post the podcast both there. We post other stuff as well, and we do some fun stuff. But you can also listen to us on podcasting platforms. And make sure you like and as I said, subscribe on YouTube and like comment your thoughts if you have thoughts to comment. Do them on YouTube though. The way I say that was kind of weird. Um, but yeah, if you have any comments, do post them on YouTube because we unfortunately cannot see them on other platforms because of weird stuff. But we hope you enjoyed, and as always, we're excited to see you in next episode.
Take care.